everyone, and welcome back to the Entertainment Esquire. Today we'll be discussing Trump's sexual assault lawsuit updates. Let's get started. So Donald Trump, in two separate instances, has been ordered to pay E. Jean Carroll for her claims of sexual assault, rape, and defamation. In the first case, which there's been an update this week, he was ordered to pay her $5 million, not for rape, but for battery and defamation, because they said there was only a sufficient amount of evidence to show those two things. And so he appealed that verdict, and they said that essentially there was enough evidence there that any sort of errors that the judge made, including what he claimed were errors, such as having other witnesses testify about their own sexual encounters with him. He considered those errors, that even if they were errors, they weren't enough to prejudice his case and award him a new trial. And so they upheld that he still has to pay her the $5 million. Now, in a separate case, a New York jury, for separate instances of statements he said against her, basically calling her a liar and a whack job and that he's not her type, those specific comments in a separate instance, he has been ordered to pay another $83.3 million to Jean Carroll. So she is definitely winning. It should be noted here that the first case that he appealed with the $5 million judgment was actually filed under the New York Adult Survivors Act, which has allowed survivors of sexual assault to essentially go back and file claims, either eliminating the statute of limitations completely or giving them more time to file. The second thing I would like to note is in the $83.3 million judgment, they had actually already decided that he was guilty of defaming her, which is highly unusual that a judge has already decided that you're guilty of what's alleged. So he was already found guilty of that. The jury actually only had to determine how much to give her. So they didn't even have to determine guilt or him being liable. It was just how much he owed her. And I think at the time she had actually only asked for $24 million, and she ended up getting $83.3. So I'm sure he'll continue to appeal. We'll keep you posted. Today we'll be discussing the two things you need to know about Jay-Z's sexual assault lawsuit update. Let's get started. The first update you need to know is that the judge actually decided to not dismiss the case. That was Jay-Z's first request regarding him being added to this lawsuit with Diddy, where it's alleged that him and Diddy sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl at a VMA after party. So the first thing you need to know is the lawsuit has not been dismissed. It will go on. The second thing you need to know is, at least for now, the judge is saying that the plaintiff can remain anonymous. She weighed various factors, the severity of the allegations, the fact that his co-defendant has threatened people when they've become named as one of the factors as to why. But the good news for Jay-Z is this is not forever. As discovery proceeds, she may have to name herself in this lawsuit. It should be noted here that Diddy, in a previous sexual assault complaint, actually also had a teenager accuser who did have to eventually name herself. So there is some precedence that she still may have to name herself, but not now. I also find it really interesting here that in addition to not dismissing the complaint and also not granting his motion for the accuser to name herself, that the judge actually entered into her order a scathing set of comments against Jay-Z's lawyer, essentially saying that he's actually not following the rules, the lawyer of Jay-Z, and that, them filing all these litany of motions to force an urgency in this case, it's just not going to work. So I'm going to read directly from the judge's order so you can hear from the horse's mouth her concerns about Jay-Z's lawyer. The judge's order reads in part, since Carter's attorneys first appeared in this case 17 days ago, he has submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the character of plaintiff's lawyer, many of them expounding on the purported urgency of this case. The judge goes on to say, although attorney Carter's attorney assails plaintiff's lawyer as having a chronic inability to follow the rules, Carter's counsel has failed to abide by this court's clear rules. So it appears that Jay-Z's lawyer is not on the good side of the judge, and that is something that they definitely want to fix ASAP. We will definitely keep you posted as this lawsuit is continuing on. This has been The Entertainment Esquire. You can find me on all my social media handles at The Entertainment ESQ and on YouTube at The Entertainment Esquire. Take care, everyone.